Right now, a big idea is quietly changing how assets can be owned, moved, and traded. It's called tokenization. And if that word sounds technical, don't worry, by the end of this video, you'll understand it in plain English. Because tokenization is basically the idea of turning something real, like a building, a bond, a piece of art, or even future income, into a digital token that can be tracked, traded, or split into smaller pieces. That matters because it could make old, slow, expensive financial systems faster and more flexible. So what exactly is tokenization? Why are banks, companies, and investors paying attention to it? And what does it mean for ordinary people? Let's break it down. Imagine a skyscraper worth $100 million. Normally, only a huge fund, a corporation, or a very rich buyer could own it. That's because traditional assets are hard to divide, hard to transfer, and hard to trade quickly. Now imagine we could divide the building into 1 million digital pieces. Each piece could represent a small share of ownership. That is the basic idea behind real-world asset tokenization, or RWA tokenization. In simple terms, the real asset still exists, a digital token is created to represent it, and people can buy, sell, or hold those tokens instead of dealing with the whole asset at once. Think of it like a pizza. The whole pizza is the asset. Tokenization lets you split it into slices. You don't need to buy the whole thing. You can own one slice. That makes expensive assets more accessible. It can also make them easier to trade. So why are companies and financial institutions interested in this? There are 3 big reasons. First, liquidity. Some assets are valuable, but hard to sell quickly. Real estate is a good example. If you own a building, you can't usually sell part of it in a simple, instant way. Tokenization can make it easier to divide that asset and sell smaller pieces to more people. Second, speed. Traditional asset transfers can involve paperwork, intermediaries, delays, and settlement friction. Tokenized systems can be designed to move ownership more efficiently, sometimes much faster than traditional workflows. Third, access. Tokenization may open the door for more people to invest in assets that were once only available to institutions or wealthy buyers. So when people talk about tokenization, they are often not talking about speculation. They are talking about infrastructure. They are asking, what if ownership could be more flexible, more programmable, and easier to move? Tokenization can apply to many different things. It can be used for real estate, bonds, private credit, funds, commodities, royalties, or even certain forms of future income. The key idea is not the asset itself, it is the digital wrapper around that asset. That wrapper can make the asset easier to divide, easier to transfer, and easier to build into digital systems. This is why tokenization matters not only to crypto people, but also to banks, fintech companies, asset managers, and businesses exploring new ways to raise capital or improve settlement. In other words, tokenization is not just a new product. It may be a new layer of financial plumbing. Now let's slow down and talk about the risks, because tokenization sounds exciting, but it is not magic. First, there is the legal question. If you own a token that represents part of an asset, what exactly do you own in the real world? A share? A claim? A contract right? That depends on the structure and the jurisdiction. Second, there is the operational risk. If the platform fails, the custodian fails, or the legal structure is weak, the token may not deliver the protection people expect. Third, there is the regulatory risk. Different places have different rules, and tokenization has to fit inside real legal and financial systems. And finally, tokenization does not automatically make a bad asset good. A weak property is still a weak property, even if it is represented by a token. So what does this mean for you right now? Probably not much directly, at least not yet. Most tokenized assets are still being tested, structured, or offered to institutions and advanced investors. But the direction is clear. Tokenization could eventually make it easier to invest smaller amounts, access more asset types, trade assets more efficiently, and combine different investments inside one digital system. In the future, your portfolio might not just include stocks and bonds. It might also include tokenized funds, tokenized real estate, or tokenized debt instruments. That future is not fully here yet, but the infrastructure is being built now. So here's the simple version. Tokenization is the idea of turning real-world assets into digital tokens so they can be easier to own, split, move, and trade. That's why banks, companies, and investors are paying attention. They are not just chasing hype. They are trying to modernize the system underneath finance itself. And that is why tokenization may become one of the most important financial ideas of the decade. If you understood this video, you now understand one of the building blocks of the future of finance.